Guys, most farmers complain about their chickens dying without understanding what has actually happened in their farm. They will just see the birds dying, or they will just come to the farm early in the morning and they will see that there is a bird dying in the farm, or they will just feed the birds. The next minute, they've realized a chicken has died and they don't understand what actually is happening. The birds also don't show any sign of illness. But the fact is that before any death will occur in the farm, the chickens are going to show you signs that they are not feeling well. So it is you, the farmer, that will fail not to recognize these signs. So in this particular video, I'm going to share with you what I do in my farm in order to curtail such occurrences in the farm because of what I've went through. I've went through severe outbreak beginning this year, and then I've learned a lot. These day-old chicks that I'm brooding, I'm learning a lot because they show you signs that they are not feeling well. I hope you could remember that I just came back from school and then one of the chickens just died on the spot. I'm talking about the first batch of chicks that I've hatched. So guys, whatever I'm going to share with you in this particular video, you have to practice it in your farm, okay? But before we proceed into the actual discussion, if this is your first time on the channel or you just stumbled on this particular video, guys, I'm Isaac from Sinai Farms and I raise local chickens, which I recommend for everybody. Okay, so if you want to learn more about local chickens and how to do this as a business, then subscribe to the channel, turn on the post notification bell, and don't forget to join the Telegram community using the link in the description of the video. Okay, so without wasting any much of your time, let's hop on into this particular video. Now guys, as I've already noted, before a bird will die in your farm, there are signs the chicken will show that it's not feeling well. So what are some of the practices that I do in my farm in order to curtail the problem? So I've said that most of the time it is you, the farmer, that will fail to recognize these signs. Now the first thing is most farmers don't spend time in their farm. They don't spend time with their chickens. And if you are in that domain, you are going to face serious problems. Most farmers have workers. They are just workers. 95% of laborers, they don't put themselves at the upfront of the job they are doing. So if you, the farmer, you are not spending time with the birds in the farm, it's going to cause you a lot of problem. And if you are also a laborer, you are working for somebody, you are working in a farm, guys, I will assure you that spend time with the chickens. There are signs the birds will show if they are not feeling well. So if you are not spending time with the chickens, it will cause havoc in your farm, and that is where the problem is coming from. Okay, now after spending so much time with my chickens, the day-old chicks that I've raised, the growers, the pullets, the birds that are laying eggs, there are signs they show that they are not feeling well. Okay, the first sign that you see is if other birds are active but one particular bird is not active, is a sign that the bird is not feeling well. You see other birds jumping here and there before they will go to sleep. They will be jumping here and there during feeding time. They will be very, very active. But you see one particular bird being very dull. Guys, you must know that something is about to happen in your farm, and it's a sign that that particular bird is not feeling well. And then you have to put up the necessary measures to arrest that particular problem. Okay, so if the bird is feeling very, very dull, you see that the bird is not active. It's a sign. Now the next sign that you observe is in the droppings of the chickens. The color of the droppings reveals the health status of your chickens. Okay, now the first thing is if you've observed the droppings of your chickens and then you've realized there is some kind of worm in their droppings, you must know that it is high time you deworm your chickens. And if you fail to do that, you are going to cause havoc in your farm. Okay, so if there is a worm-like substance in the droppings of the chickens, guys, deworm your birds. So that is the first sign whenever it comes to the droppings. The second sign is if the dropping is very watery, it's a sign that the birds are suffering from diarrhea. So you have to curtail that particular problem. And the third sign whenever it comes to the dropping is if the droppings are very, very greenish. It's a sign of Newcastle. Okay, and you have to take the necessary measures to curtail that particular problem. Okay, now the fourth thing is, the droppings of the chickens must contain some whitish substance, that is their urine. Birds don't urinate. But if your chickens are not having that particular whitish substance in their dropping, guys, it's a serious problem. You have to arrest that as early as possible, else you are going to suffer. Okay, But I don't want you to suffer. These are some of my observation, my own observation. Now, the final observation, whenever it comes to the droppings, you see the droppings is very, very dark in color, very dark. Guys, it's a sign that the birds are not feeling well. And before I forget, if the birds droppings are containing blood, guys, it's a serious problem. It's a sign of coccidiosis or worm infestation, internal worms. So these are some of the serious signs you are going to see in the droppings. So if you are not spending time with the birds in your farm, you are not observing the droppings, guys, you are going to wake up one day and then you see birds dying in your farm, and then you'll be complaining that the birds are not showing you any sign before they will die. No, it is you that are not observing the overall state of your farm. Now, whenever it comes to the other signs that birds do show is isolation. You see others being gathered at one particular place, or they are having fun, they are bathing in the sun, they are doing that. But you see a particular bird isolating itself. The bird will just isolate itself. It's a sign that the bird is not feeling well. So you have to be very, very observant in your farm. If one particular bird is isolating itself in the flock, you must understand that there is something wrong with that particular bird. If you don't put up the necessary measures, it's going to infect others. Now, the other sign is the breathing state of your birds. You know, if birds are going to suffer from these respiratory disorders or these respiratory diseases, it affects the state of their breath. They will not be breathing normally. So you have to observe how the birds are breathing. Okay, you have to be very, very observant. So if the breathing state of the birds, the pulse is not in that order, then you have to take note that there is something wrong with your flock, and then you have to put up the necessary measures to curtail that particular problem. Okay, there are a lot of signs that birds do show if they are not feeling well. It is you, the farmer, that will fail to realize what is actually wrong with the birds. Now, the next sign you will see is if the wings and then the tail feather of the birds dropped. Okay, it's a sign the birds are not feeling well, and it's a sign of Newcastle. The wings, it will drop, the tail feather will drop, which the tail feather is supposed to be up, the wings supposed to be tight. But if the wings are dropping, you know that it's a sign. And sometimes if the wings are dropping, it's a sign of heat stress. So you have to find means of curtailing that problem, because it will cause havoc in your farm. So it's another signature that the birds are not feeling well. If the birds are feeling okay, you will see that they will be active, they will be jumping here and there, they will be playing, they will be having fun in the coop. But if they are not feeling well, they are going to show you different kinds of signs, and then you know that, okay, something is wrong with your flock, and then you have to correct it. Okay, now the final sign which I would like to discuss with you in this particular video is if the birds are coughing. Okay, don't just take it as something normal. If the birds begin to cough, you hear that croak sign. If you hear birds just coughing, even if it is one, guys, you must isolate that particular bird and treat it, or you just treat the whole flock at once. Don't even wait for any other sign, just treat them at once. Because, guys, if you leave that bird for a day or two, you may lose all your birds, you may lose all your flock. You just come to the farm one morning and then you see birds dying in your farm without understanding what is actually happening in your farm. So if you see any bird coughing in your farm, arrest the situation as early as possible. Okay, so these are some of the signs I will share with you in this particular video. Hopefully I'll be bringing in more for you to be aware of such signatures and how to arrest them. Be looking forward for how I treat my birds whenever it comes to these occurrences and how I'm doing it, so that you can also replicate the same systems in your farm. Mind you, if you are raising day-old chicks, if they hit 5 weeks to 6 weeks, this is the state where they die a lot. Most people don't know. So you have to be ready for things I'm going to reveal to you in videos. Okay, so guys, I will catch you up for another wonderful one like this. But guys, before we part ways, if you enjoyed this time with me, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you are new, and I'll catch you up for another wonderful one like this.